meet you.
And today we're going to talk to you about a variety of topics now that you've made it through your first week of school at UTSA. So let's get started with textbooks.
Oh, that's a good one. I know that my first semester here, I was getting textbooks like the week before classes started.
You did?
Yeah, I was freaking out.
Yeah, here's the thing about buying textbooks before class starts. Syllabus can change.
Oh, definitely.
They might change it so that you don't need a book, or they might say, oh, you need that book, but just for this one article on this one page. Otherwise, we're not going to use it. So advice, maybe wait until the first week of class to buy your textbooks to make sure you actually do need them.
Not only that, one of my professors this semester was like, oh, I included a PDF version link on the syllabus, so I didn't even need to buy that book.
Yeah, you don't want to spend money that you don't need to, because let's face it, textbooks can be very expensive.
I was looking up my textbooks this semester, and it was like $500 if I didn't use like the discounts.
For all
and
of
everything.
them?
Yeah, for 3 of them.
Whew, for just 3?
3 of them. That's the only ones I needed.
Oh,
so
okay.
For 3 of them, it was like $500. But I guess, do you have any websites they can use?
Yeah, if you don't want to get your books from the bookstore, which is an option, say you want an online version or you want just a used copy in the library, the bookstore doesn't have any, you can go to websites like Amazon, Half Price Books, Chegg.com, and Slug Books, and all of those are textbook vendors where you can buy them used copies, a little bit cheaper typically.
Well, Slug Books is actually not a vendor. They just compare prices across all the different vendors.
Oh.
That's how I ended up getting my $500 down to like $70. Yeah.
Genius.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it really does help out, especially, being students.
You don't have money to throw
You don't
around.
have a lot of money to throw away. Yeah, if I had bought all of my textbooks brand new, as an English major, I have tons of textbooks I need to be buying. I could be spending like upwards of $600, $700 for anthologies, for ethnographies, just depending on what kind of book, what your major is, that will dictate not only how many books you need, but how expensive they'll be too.
Yeah, that's another thing why you should wait until the first week of classes, because the professor might say, hey, you don't necessarily need the newest edition. And if you get 1 edition or 2 editions previous, they'll be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, that is an okay thing to do. You just want to check with your professor to make sure that the content is going to be the same. And after that, it's just a matter of matching up the page numbers for the correct readings. Another thing that waiting for the semester to begin before buying your textbooks is that you can also ask around and see if anybody maybe has a copy of that textbook that they used last semester. Usually you can buy it off of somebody else cheaper.
Or what happened to me last semester, I bought my book. Thankfully, it was only $10, but I bought my book, and the next day my friend was like, hey, I found the PDF version online.
Yep.
And that's always heartbreaking, especially if you pay over like $100.
Yeah, at least it was only $10.
Yeah.
But definitely asking around and hearing kind of where other people are getting their textbooks from, whether they know somebody that has a PDF or they know somebody that's trying to get rid of that textbook. You can usually get it that way easier, cheaper.
Also, keep
better.
an eye out for bulletin boards around campus. A lot of students are trying to get rid of their textbooks, so they'll be advertising them for a lot cheaper than if you go on Amazon or something.
Yeah, so that's the basics of buying textbooks. Now, about using them. Once you buy them, you should probably read them because you spent money on them.
Definitely.
Yeah, so one thing that everybody always recommends, because it works, is taking notes while you're reading.
Mm-hmm. And it's always easier because when finals or the test comes around, you don't want to have to read 50 pages. You can just skim those 50 pages, look at what you either highlighted, wrote on the sides, and it just keeps it organized.
Yeah, that's the thing. Writing in books, totally okay if it's your textbook.
If you own it.
If you own it.
And you don't plan on selling it, unless you sell it with the notice, hey, I wrote in it.
Yeah, usually if a book is marked up with highlighted notes or written notes, it usually does sell cheaper because you already...
Way cheaper.
You already just wrote all in that book. Yeah, so that's something to consider. Highlighting, I highlight all the time whenever I'm reading a textbook.
I can't highlight. I'm that person who, you start off with one word, and before you know it, the whole page is highlighted.
That is the danger about highlighting. It's how much you're going to highlight. You don't want to highlight the whole page. Just make sure you're keeping it to important information. I like to color code.
I do that.
Yeah, I guess I'll take this time to show you.
Ooh.
This is a pencil case, and in it is all manner of sticky notes used when reading textbooks, as well as highlighters and I'm like, where's the camera? Highlighters and colored pens. Color coding for me makes it easier to read the textbook when I am studying for the final exam. If I know I'm looking at vocabulary, I know that I highlighted vocabulary all one color. Um, Technical difficulties. I know that if I highlighted all the vocabulary one color, I can just go and look for that one color in each chapter. Makes it a little easier for me to study, but I am a very visual person, so
Same.
I'm sure you have a different method.
No, I have the same method. It's just because we're dealing more with like formulas and functions and stuff like that. I highlight all of the important functions or the general formulas in one color. Then if it's something like I don't know how to work out a certain problem, I'll highlight that or like box it in a different color, just so that when I'm going back, I have a reference to easily pinpoint what I want to study.
Yeah, everyone has their own way that they do this. You really just want to find whatever way works for you and run with that. But you do try other methods.
Yeah, don't be afraid to try new things. Before last semester, I thought study groups was not my thing. And then I tried it out with a friend of mine, kind of pulled me in, and I did significantly better in that class than all of my other classes, simply because I had that. So don't be afraid to try new things. That's really important. Afraid to try new things. Before this semester.
More technical difficulties.
Sorry.
All right, so now we're going to talk about note-taking. So you take notes while you're reading the textbook. I'm going to move this, actually. You take notes while you're reading the textbook, which you should be doing before you go to class.
Definitely.
But guess
I
what?
do that.
Then you go to class, and you need to take notes there, too.
Yeah, because not only is the textbook giving you one information and then the professor gives you a whole different information, but the professor is going to be quizzing you from either the textbook or his lectures, because he knows that you have this information, so you have to have both available and in your memory when you're taking that test.
Yeah, so how you take notes during a lecture, like taking notes while you're reading the textbook, it's going to be totally personalized for what works with you. Like what I usually do is I'll take notes in class, and they're usually really messy, really free form, because think about it, professors talk really, really fast.
Not only that, they jump from thing to thing.
They jump from topic to topic. So I take really like loose, free-form notes, and then after the lecture, I go back over those notes and rewrite them a little more organized into an actual journal where I keep everything for that semester, which ends up doubling because you not only like read the textbook, take notes on that, go to the lecture, take notes on that, but then you're like going through that material again when you rewrite the notes. So you've just encountered that information like 5 times.
Yeah.
That's pretty good to help you learn and memorize the material that you need.
And then again, color coding is another important thing for me. I love to color code my notes. I have like AJ has. I have a little bag of notes.
Yeah, this whole bag.
pens.
It's like a 24 set of colored pens that I love, and all my highlighters and sticky notes.
There's a bunch of like sales going on this week at all of the office stores. So I bought a bunch of colored pencils and pens and everything. And then when I'm rereading through my notes, like she said, I've already seen it 5 times. Now I'm reading over everything just to make sure I have it in my head before I go to the test. I'm also highlighting stuff that I'm finding important. So it's just this repetition that's eventually going to get stuck in your head.
Yeah. Now, some people don't like to actually like write pen and paper notes while they're in a lecture. For some people, they can't write fast enough. Like I said, professors talk really fast. They jump around a lot. So for some people, what's easiest for them is typing their notes on a laptop. Again, make sure that your professor is okay with that. A lot of different classes have different technology policies. Some professors don't allow you to have a laptop. They want you to do pen and paper notes. But if it's okay, do what works for you. If typing them out on a Word document is going to work, go with that. But then we also would recommend is going through those notes that you typed and in your own time rewriting them. Again, just so you can encounter that information.
Yeah, so I have a friend who just writes paragraphs. She just writes, and it's just rambling. It's not even punctuated.
Stream of consciousness notes.
And so then she goes back in and she divides it into bullets and what's important, and she categorizes. And then another thing that I've noticed some students do, they record the professor, either video or voice recording. But again, Make sure
the professor is okay with that.
Because that comes into copyright, and some professors don't want to be videotaped. Some professors don't. They're like, you have to be at the lecture. I don't want this out for the other students or something like that.
Yeah, some professors, they actually consider their class lectures intellectual property. So if you record that without their permission, you could be infringing on, like you said, some sort of copyright or plagiarism law. you don't want to get
Yeah,
into that. So
some
just ask.
professors,
Most of them will say, yeah, that's
definitely.
fine.
Some other professors have their actual research in their lectures, and
Hmm.
they're drawing from their research to teach you, and so they don't want that necessarily going out
Yeah.
around.
And if you ever have a question about it, like you're not sure, just ask them. They'll tell
Yeah.
you.
That nobody's going to be like, "Oh, how dare you ask me to record me?"
They want you to ask.
They'll just be like, "Oh, yeah, sure." Or they'll be like, "No, I don't really feel comfortable with you recording me." In which case, said it's done. Nobody gets in trouble. Nobody's hurt. Feelings are hurt.
Yep. So if you are taking notes on a laptop, there are different programs that you can use. Some people just open up a Google Docs or a Google Drive, and they'll just take notes in there. For other people, they prefer using a sort of note-keeping website like Evernote or Microsoft OneNote. I've never really used those. I'm not a typer in class.
Microsoft OneNote is more like a program that comes with the Microsoft Word and stuff like that, and it just automatically saves. You don't have to like hit save or anything. You can just click out, and it categorizes by class, and then you can take notes. And it's really free form, so you can put your notes all over the place or keep it all nice together. It's really interesting. I
Well, there
enjoy
you
using
go.
it.
Now you know what it is. And again, when you are taking these notes on the laptop, don't just like save the document and forget about it. We really do recommend that you go back in and rewrite it using whatever method you think is going to work best, whether that's the Cornell method, mapping something out, I don't know, making a chart, whatever's going to work for you that's going to help you remember that content. Just don't forget it as soon as you type it out or write it down the first time.
And let's be honest, everybody's going to cram at some point in their college career. It's part of college life. But if you're cramming the night before and you've already seen it 5 times from reading the lecture or reading the notes, reading the book, looking at the lecture, being in class, and then writing your own notes, and then going over your notes, it's a lot easier than having to learn the material brand new the night before. Because that
Yeah.
also brings in stress.
Yeah, definitely how you organize that information is just going to make it so much easier in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Do yourself a favor with managing that time.
Think of your future self.
Oh, yeah. Think of your future self. And speaking of time management, we also want to talk to you about planners.
Oh, I love planners.
I love my planner.
I love mine too.
Yeah, I carry it every day with me. I have my class assignments, work schedule, even like personal events like
Same.
birthdays and anniversaries. I have all of that written in my planner.
In high school, I was not a planner type of person. I was like, you know what, I'll remember it. But once I got into college, there's so much going on, especially when
Yeah.
you're working, when you're extracurricular, with
Oh, yeah.
classes. Everything is on you to remember. So
Yeah,
planners come in.
you never want to show up to class and find out that there was like an online quiz due at midnight the night before.
Or I've seen
and-
that face when they walk in and it's like, okay, take your Scantron out, we're having a test.
Yep, it's
That's-
horrifying.
That is not something you want.
Yeah, so what I do is, syllabus week, when everybody gets their syllabus, I immediately like take that information. First, make sure that like the professor printed it correctly. A lot of times professors will kind of edit it the first day. They're like, oh, I've changed my mind. We're going to move this to this day. So definitely wait until maybe after the first day or even the first week of class to make sure that everything is laid out so you can write it in your planner without having to like scratch everything out. That being said, the professor does reserve the right to change that syllabus at any point in the semester, but it makes it easier in the long run to just like have to change one thing instead of having to change the entire calendar.
And usually test dates are set in stone. If your class is falling behind, either the professor will take out a certain part of the test or they'll just move the test back a day or two. I've never really had them move it back more.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So you usually have that general idea, and it's definitely important to put those things down. Online stuff, they can sneak up on you, and
Yeah.
it's online, so you're in college, nobody's going to be like, hey, remember, there's an online
It's
assignment due.
accountability, and if you have it written in front of you in a planner, usually that helps with the accountability.
Mhm.
So we do have like some samples of planners that we just collected from everybody in the office to show you that no matter what style you have, there's a planner out there for you.
Definitely.
So there's big ones. This is mine. I love
It's like
having a
medium
big
size?
planner.
How's your plan?
Oh, on the inside, okay, I really like this
How's
one
it
because
divided?
it has like the month
Oh, that's nice.
at once, and then when you open it up, let me see, what do we got? Oh yeah, I'm very organized, so I like have weekly schedules, but if you look at it, it has like to-do list. It's backwards. You have like to-do lists, so what I need to do, and homework, and then also day by day. And I like this one because it doesn't have lines on the day by day. I like it
I
because
can't deal with
it's a
that.
little more freeform and I have more room to write around in it. So I love my big planner. I have sticky notes. Again, it's backwards.
Nice.
I have sticky notes everywhere in here. It just helps me be able to see what I need to do.
Another one I like, I don't like the whole like, is mine. Mine has lines and it's down
No,
by the hour.
I don't like that.
I need to have that so I know what I'm doing. Like, for example, I blocked off all this blue highlighting is all of my classes. It is backwards.
It is. It's confusing.
And then I have like color. Again, I'm huge on color
I'm gonna
coding.
peek in this one and see what's in here.
I have the black is mine, like stuff that's personal to my family, and then I have my orange is my work schedule and everything. So it's really down to based off of what you need.
Oh, we have a question.
Question time.
Yeah, I was like looking through this planner.
Oh, that's really
this
nice.
one, yeah, this one's kind of a hybrid. It does have the month in a glance, but it has the lines broken up.
That's cool.
Let me see what the days look like. Yeah, the days have lines. They're not hour by hour, but it just, I guess, makes it, it's so confusing.
It is.
Just makes it a little easier to kind of
organize.
write and organize. Okay. Question. How do you keep up in class if you're a first-time student? Do we say the name? By Megan. Thank you, Megan.
Our first question.
Yeah, our first question.
Nice.
Okay, so how do you keep up in class if you're a first-time student? Definitely time management is, you hear that
so
all the
key.
time, but time management.
It's so easy to fall behind, especially for professors who are like, you know what, if you turn it in a day late, it's not that bad. Then you're like, oh, okay, I don't have to. There's no urgency on this. But definitely, the deadlines are there for a reason, because if you get to the end of the semester and you're like, I have 5 papers due and a test and online quizzes, it gets really stressful. And it's just so much easier if you just take it assignment by assignment.
Yeah, versus if you have that broken up, if you do have those 5 essays due at the end of the semester, and you obviously know that in advance it's on the syllabus, start doing that weeks in advance if you can get the prompt in time. Break up how you're working on that. Take breaks so you don't overwork yourself.
Don't
because
drink too much caffeine.
I've done that before where I've just like sat there and decided like this is the time I have to work on this project. I'm going to do it straight.
No.
And like 2 hours in, I'm exhausted. I can't even think about anything. So you definitely want to be giving yourself breaks, because otherwise you get tired and you're like, never mind, I don't want to do this anymore. And then you don't do it and you get behind.
And planners definitely help so much. Not only put the stuff that are due when they're due, but you can start actually planning ahead and say, okay, I want to get the first draft done by this date of a paper, or I want these steps to be done by this certain date for a project.
Yeah, actually, so for what I do for mine, what helps me out, I'm like all over the place. On my to-do list for this week, I also write the homework that I need to be doing for that Monday afterwards immediately. So that way I don't open the next week on there and say like, oh no, I had to do this, this, and this for Monday. You don't have to get like days ahead in your homework. That's going to be really hard to do. Not that it's impossible, but if you can at least get, at least a jump start on what you know is going to be due by the next class, it's going to help so much.
And then here early in the semester, there's not a whole lot going on, so get days ahead, and you'll be thanking yourself in the future when you have a bunch of assignments due and you have to start like time managing and making sure that everything's getting in on time and all of that.
Can I just say that Labor Day is like academia's gift to students, because like my first year here, I was like, Labor Day, like that's a vacation, that's a free day. And now this is my 3rd year here at UTSA, and I'm like, Labor Day, that's time for me to like get so much work done.
Yeah, because you're thinking ahead, and that's what I did the same thing last year. And this year I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this project started, I'm going to start doing this paper, everything right. Like Labor Day is the day to get ahead.
I mean, you can like enjoy yourself, relax, go study outside or something, but study, use that day wisely.
Yeah, don't take it as just a free day.
Yeah, there are no free days. You can always be doing something, and you probably should. Speaking of like, you should probably be doing something. Any time that you can fit in any studying or work, if you have like a 2-hour gap between classes, don't just mess around on campus. That's a 2-hour time block that you could be, I don't know, writing a paper that you don't have to worry about when you get home because it's already done.
But at the same time, keep in mind that you do need some of your personal time.
Yes.
Don't be a workaholic. It's easy to fall on that train as well, where you're just, oh, I've got 2 hours here, oh, I've got 30 minutes, oh, I've got 5 minutes to do something. Take some time up for yourself. Set aside an hour. If you have to write it in your planner.
Yeah, that's what I have to do.
This 2 hours, I'm just going to go hang out with some friends. Or I'm going to just watch Netflix. Just something to give yourself a mental break.
Yeah, it's okay to schedule a specific time for your self-care and to not budge on that. Just like you shouldn't budge on, like, this is the time I have set for my classes, this is when I go to class. Don't budge on your self-care hour. That's for you.
And again, that being said, don't take that self-care hour and turn
Make
it into a whole
7
day.
hours. Yeah. All right, so I think that's pretty much all we have to say on those topics.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, we'll just move straight ahead to announcements. So if you did not know, today was the last day to add and drop classes, and this is also the day that waitlisting ended. So if you didn't drop a class, you're in there. If you didn't add a class, you're not in there. And if you were waitlisted and you didn't get put in that class, waitlisting's over. Sorry.
Well, it's not over
It's not?
yet. Just like keep an eye out. Maybe the next day
They'll
or
probably
two,
send an announcement,
they'll send
right?
an announcement or something. But don't get your hopes too high if you haven't.
Yeah,
done
at this point, your schedule's kind of set where you
Yeah.
are. In that case, the involvement fair, that was today at 10 a.m., but they're also doing it tomorrow, Tuesday at 10 a.m. You can see an events calendar somewhere.
This is super easy way to find all of the organizations on campus. All of them are going to be here from 10 to 2, and they'll be advertising, trying to recruit. So if you're really looking into getting involved on campus, definitely attend that day tomorrow.
Yeah, this is just to get information. You don't have to commit to anything. I mean, they will ask if you do want to sign up, but if you just want to go kind of browse, see what's going on, that's totally fine.
Yep. We have a mentee mixer coming up on September 13th, 2016 at 2 p.m.
2016. I think they know. I'm
All right.
kidding. It's going to be in the Mesquite room in the UC building. What room number is it? I think it's, I don't know what room number that is off the top
We'll
of my
keep
head.
you posted.
We'll keep you
Definitely subscribe, follow us on our social media. That's where we'll have most of our updates about events such as these. We also have a mentee workshop for transitioning to UTSA, which is on September 21st.
2016.
At 3 p.m. in the Willow Room.
We have a room number for the Mesquite room. Okay, so the Mentee Mixer on the 13th at 2 p.m. It's going to be in the Mesquite room, which is UC, second floor, so 2.01.24.
It's also going to be in the description below for
Yeah.
any of you guys that want to reference. And then the mentee workshop is in the Willow Room, which is we're
Trying to get the room numbers down.
2.12. Again, it will be in the description below if you want a reference. We also have our next Mentor Monday, September 12th at 6:30 p.m. So join us next time.
Yeah, don't tune
For
in on
more
Labor
questions.
Day.
Yeah, we're not
going to be here
we're not
Labor
gonna be
Day.
doing this Labor Day.
So yeah, the next Mentor Monday is going to be Monday after next. That's pretty much it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you check the description, it's down here, right? I've always wanted to do
I
this.
know.
The description for links to our social media accounts for updates and upcoming events, and the room numbers where these events are going to be at.
And we'll also post our email
I was like,
email address.
Yeah.
If you have any questions for us, we'll definitely try to get back to you in a timely manner. Aside from that, thank you so much for tuning in.
I'm AJ.
I'm Diana.
See ya.
Wait, let's do that.